I thought that the defeat in the FA Cup against Brighton was bad, but a 3-0 defeat in the Premier League is even worse, Jace. I mean, we started well the first 20 minutes, but overall I would say that second half performance is probably the worst I have seen under Enzo Maresca at Chelsea.
Yeah, I think most Chelsea fans watching that game will agree with that. I watched the extended highlights earlier this morning and I put myself through it, but I just want to see, because I've done the comms for Chelsea TV and I remember thinking, actually, we started quite well, but I wanted to refresh my memory. And actually we did. Down the right-hand side, Noni was linking up with Gusto. There was a couple of half chances and I thought we controlled the game. I thought things were pretty comfortable. Then we conceded the goal. Trevor will be disappointed. Come a long way, that ball. Brilliant goal from Matoma. Take nothing away from that. It will be in the goal of the season. No question about it. It's a brilliant take. And even then, we had a couple of half moments. Neto had one. So remember Gusto getting down that right-hand side again. When we conceded the second goal, after that, I can't defend our performance after that second goal. That is way below anything that Chelsea fans should expect, because there was a lack of, I think we said afterwards, a lack of desire, a lack of, all of the things that are a prerequisite that you should have to go and play a game of football. Closing down, energy, desire, fight, work rate, all of those things, they drifted out of our game. And in the end, it was a bit of a sorry sight.
I mean, you spoke about desire there, Jay. Enzo Maresca came out after the game and said, we need to talk about the desire. You have 14 games to go. You can go 1 point to third with a win tonight. I mean, quite frankly, they shouldn't need that to go, oh yeah, well, we're close to third, so that should be the desire. That's inexcusable to not have... When your manager is coming out and questioning your desire, where do you go from there?
Yeah, but the onus is obviously on the players. They go out on the pitch and they are the ones that we require to get the results on the pitch. But also the onus is on the manager. You've had this, I think the biggest indictment on Maresca for these results is that you had a chance to look at Brighton the week before. Any manager worth his salt will be able to figure out what they do best, what they do worse, and exploit that. And he didn't manage to do that. The result was worse after having a chance to look at him. I've come here with a Mickey Mouse haircut. That was a Mickey Mouse performance. That was a Mickey Mouse performance. One of the worst performances of this season. And as a Chelsea fan, where you've gone out of cup competitions, to perform like that in the league where you know that it's in your hands, we're sitting in the Champions League spot going into that game, playing before everybody else, by the way, on a Friday night. What a way to ruin your weekend. And Jace has pointed out the tactical reasons as to why we weren't successful. But you are right to read out that Maresca quote. There wasn't a desire there. And after they scored their second goal, we didn't show anything in the second half. So very, very concerning times at Chelsea. I just don't know how things turn around.
So this has been a gradual decline. You said there's 6 weeks. You're right, it is about 6 weeks. Boxing Day, we picked up 8 points in 8 games in the league, okay? We have won 2, drawn 2, lost 4. This has been a bit of a tailspin. And culminating with the second half performance, that it's getting slowly, progressively worse. That second half performance is the worst I've seen under Maresca. And it is concerning that you can't get away from it, because you go back just before Christmas, Liv, and if we got a victory away at Everton, which is a long time ago now, we'd have gone above Liverpool. Granted, they'd have had 2 games in hand, but now we are 17 points off Liverpool. That drop-off is unbelievable. This is just before Christmas, 17 points.
17 points off Liverpool.
Okay.
In 6 weeks.
So that's that drop-off is dramatic. Liverpool, look, they're the best side in the country, at the top of the table for a reason. But these next 4 games are crucial, because we've got games we should win at home. Southampton, Leicester. Villa away at the weekend, then Arsenal, which with bookends, both those 4 games there. We have to beat. We've got to get something out against Villa. They're not brilliant. We've got to get something out of Villa. Have to beat Southampton, have to beat Leicester. And let's be honest, against Arsenal right now, the way we're playing, I wouldn't put a pound of country money to get anything out of that game. But these next 3 games, we've got to pick up a minimum, in my world, a minimum of 7 points.
Do we pick up a minimum of 7 points?
I think the Villa game will be tough. If we don't beat Southampton, we don't beat Leicester.
Then what?
Fans are already starting to turn. But if we don't get 3 points in both of those games, then people will really turn, because Southampton are one of the worst teams the Premier League's ever seen. And this Leicester team, despite the fact that they looked okay against Arsenal on the weekend, they are relegation fodder as well. The Villa game is the interesting one, because Villa have not been in the best form. Last 7 games, they've only won 3 of them in all competitions. Granted, they've had some big results in the Champions League, but this is a Villa team that can be got at. And Chelsea's best performance this season, granted it was at home, was against Aston Villa.
Yeah.
And so when you've got that record against a team that is a good team, I feel like those players can take confidence into it. Right now, and again, nobody's going to cry for Chelsea because of how big the squad is. We are going into these games with injuries. We haven't got out-and-out number 9. Madueke came off on the weekend. We have got players missing, and so maybe that will help Maresca in terms of identifying his starting 11, but we go into that game with a weakened team, and there's no guarantee that we get 7 points out of those 3 games. I would like it, Jace, but I don't know going to Villa Park if we can guarantee we're going to get a point or even 3.
Has to be a minimum of 6. Like, it has to be.
Yeah.
You cannot justify not picking up 3 points at home against Southampton and Leicester. Jace, do you think there is a question mark about the players not playing for Maresca? Is there a question mark around that? Or is it just maybe desire within themselves?
The second half performance is concerning for everyone because of how easy we've become to play against. We are so easy. Just want to remind people, this Brighton team hadn't won at home in any competition since the 9th of November. They played Chelsea twice, they pick up 2 victories, okay? They hadn't won the last 2 games. In those last 2 games, on aggregate, they got beat 8-0. They play against Chelsea, and all of a sudden they're scoring goals, keeping clean sheets. What concerns me right now is stop Palmer, stop Chelsea. The way Mitoma and Minter were dropping it out wide in those wide areas to stop Noni early on, Neto in those first exchanges. The Neto went to the right, then we had Jadon on the left. There was no creativity. There was no going past them after the first 25 minutes. And we're easy. We're an easy team to stop to play. We're very easy to score against. And that combo, it's a bad combo right now. And at the back, we know we're going to concede. And I think Brighton Hertzler went there saying, if we keep a clean sheet, we win this game. We never shot on target. And I used to sit here and I used to moan about the chances that we would miss in games that we couldn't get the second or the third goal. That would be my big gripe in the first third of the season. The middle third of the season is now, as we've gone through that, I'm now sitting here saying, we're not creating chances to score. That is far worse.
It feels like you're saying, yeah, when we went 1-0 up, we were vulnerable. But now it's, even if we go 1-0 up, we're still vulnerable, Kwaku. But when we go 1-0 down, we're vulnerable as well. So it's like we can't really win. Just feels like it's a lose-lose. No matter what happens, we score, we concede first, we're always going to lose the game.
Yeah, no, right now, it feels like all hope is lost. And I think what Chelsea fans are trying to latch onto is the fact that last season, around this time, we went on a run under Pochettino. But I just don't see it at the moment with this squad. I see, especially in the second half, I saw players just, not even the fact they lost their heads just weren't in it. They just weren't there. And it was
they
very,
lost belief,
very...
didn't they?
Pardon?
They lost belief.
Yeah, they lost belief. They lost belief. And maybe that comes from a lack of experience in terms of people haven't been in these situations before. And we're going to speak later on about why we've got a lack of experience in this team. But there is nobody to pick this side up. And like you say, you stop Cole Palmer, you stop Chelsea. And that can't be the MO for a team that's trying to finish in the Champions League spots. And I defended Maresca when he played down, we're not in a title race, because we weren't, and evidently we're not. Look at where we're at right now, we're 17 points off of Liverpool, who are going to win the title. But when you're asked about finishing or qualifying for the Champions League, and you play that down and say that wasn't the goal, that wasn't the remit from the owners, where we know that the top 5 teams will qualify for the Champions League, there's 99% chance of that happening, you're saying that the remit's not to finish in the top 5. Where did we finish last season? 6th. And Pochettino lost his job. So you're telling me that you're not good enough to improve on what we did last year? Then I don't think you're going to be in a job long term. Not me calling for Maresca to have the sack, but as a Chelsea fan that I adhere to standards, I expect us to improve year on year. And if we finish below 6th, then I don't know how Maresca keeps the job beyond the summer.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.